Hey guys, welcome back to Ben & Brewing's channel. If you haven't been here before, we do product reviews, tutorials, and we have a live chat feature on our website to help you through your Brew 911s. Check it out at benandbrewing.com. Today's video, we're going to take iGulu's cider kit and kind of repeat on it again. If you caught our last video where we added some spices to it, we're taking it up a notch again. But this does present some unique problems because we're adding juice to the cider. Let's check it out. All right, so quick reminder before we get started today, today's video is sponsored by iGulu. We'll have a 20% off coupon linked down below if you wish to purchase the iGulu S1 or F1. Additionally, any of the ingredients and tools that we're using today will have linked in the description below from the different juices, ingredients, and sanitizers. Now, if you watched our last iGulu video, we took the hard apple cider kit and we decided to add some spices to it to kind of make it more holiday, a little bit more Christmas. And that actually turned out really, really good. Definitely check out that video. If you can, we'll have that link in the description as well, but wait until you finish this one before you go watch that one. We had such success with that spiced cider that we made for the holidays that we wanted to take it up another notch and see if we could add some juice. And what better juice to add for the holidays than cranberry juice. Now there's a couple challenges when using the cranberry juice, which we're going to talk about here in a little bit, but if you are interested in trying this, you can certainly get this same juice. We'll have this linked below on Amazon. This may be available for you locally. If you can't find it or you want to use a different cranberry juice, make sure there's a specific type that you want to get. The most natural juice you can find, meaning not from concentrate and not with any preservatives in it. If you find a juice that's from concentrate, the flavors may not come out quite right. You want as natural of a juice as possible. And if you do find one with preservatives, adding that to the cider might shut down the yeast as far as fermentation goes, in which case it won't ferment out anything. So it's very important to get a very all-natural juice. All right, so there seems to be two main challenges that we're gonna come across when trying to add the cranberry juice to the cider. The first one is the acidification of the apple juice. Apple juice is very acidic on its own, and yeasts don't like to ferment in things that are either too acidic or too basic. When we're gonna throw more cranberry juice in, which is even more acidic, it's gonna change the pH even more. So that could potentially stress the yeast and lead to some off flavors or maybe not as clean of a fermentation as we hope. The next challenge is when to actually add the cranberry juice. So traditionally you would add it pre-fermentation. So you mix up your cider, you throw in the juice, you pitch the yeast, you let it ferment out. Now, flavors change throughout fermentation, as I'm sure you know. So we want to make sure that we're not losing that cranberry flavor, the tartness that we want post-fermentation, because it is going to dry some things out, and that does have an impact on the end flavor. We don't want to lose that. We want to make sure that it's pairing nicely with the apple. The second option is to actually add the cranberry juice post-fermentation. So you let the cider ferment out all the way, and then you add juice on top of that to kind of backfill it. You maintain kind of the purity of the cranberry juice itself without altering the flavor. However, the issue is that because there is fermentable sugars in here, that could kick up a secondary fermentation, in which case you're gonna ferment it out anyway. So you end up with the same result. So we need to figure out a way to make sure that in our second batch, our second experiment, the cranberry juice was not fermenting it out and it was stable and wouldn't kick up a secondary fermentation. All right, so a lot of you may be asking, why are we bothering to do a split batch? Well, honestly, it's because I only have one apple cider kit left, and I really wanted to experiment with this and see what technique is gonna work the best with the solutions we've kind of come up with. So our first batch number one, we're gonna add all of our cranberry juice to the cider, we're gonna add the spices, we're gonna pitch the yeast in there and let it ferment out completely. We are gonna throw a tilt hydrometer in both of our Triton kegs because I do wanna kind of monitor the fermentation process as it goes to see how much the cranberry juice actually adds as far as sugar content. Now, when we taste this, and if you taste it, your own version that you get, you'll notice it's not super sweet, it is extremely tart. Now, there are fermentable sugars in there, so I'm curious to see how much it actually raises the gravity of what we're gonna be fermenting. But removing those sugars might even make it more tart. So it could be a bad thing, could be a great thing, we'll find out. Our second batch, we're gonna try something a little bit different to try to preserve the cranberry flavor. We're gonna add our cider and spice and our yeast and let it ferment out to completion. Once that's done, it's going to be time for us to add the cranberry juice. But before we do that, we want to make sure that it doesn't kick up a secondary fermentation and chew through these sugars that might make it harsh if they don't have that kind of a sweet backbone to it. So we're going to open up our Triton keg. We're going to add some potassium sorbate. Now, a lot of mead makers use this, a lot of cider makers use this because it's great at stopping yeast fermentation. It doesn't actually kill the yeast. It prevents them from budding and multiplying, which is part of what they do in fermentation. If they're not able to bud, they really can't take up the nutrients or the sugars, fermentation stops. But again, it doesn't kill the yeast. As I mentioned before, a lot of mead makers and cider makers use this to create a very dry mead or cider, and then they do what's called back sweetening, where they add additional sugar to it, and because of the potassium sorbate, it doesn't kick up a secondary and you end up with a sweeter beverage. Basically attempted the same thing with our cranberry juice. So we're gonna add this in like a little slurry dissolved into some water into our keg post-fermentation. We're gonna let it sit 24 hours to kind of do its work and work its magic. After that, we're gonna go ahead and add our cranberry juice to it and let that sit for 24 more hours just to really let the flavors kind of marry, and I want to make sure that it doesn't kick up a fermentation. After that, we're going to taste the two different versions and see which technique works best at kind of harnessing the flavor that we're really going for. If you brewed on the iGulu before, you should be very familiar with the steps. It's actually very, very easy. What's unique about our brew day today is because we're doing a split batch, the kind of rules of operation are a little bit different than they normally would be. Now, you certainly don't have to do a split batch yourself. You can wait until we determine which technique is best and do just that single method by yourself, in which case you don't have to split things in two. If you want to try this experiment yourself, definitely follow our steps, because I think our mode of operation, our rules of operation here are actually going to be pretty good for this experiment. All right, step one, make sure you are sanitizing everything that's going to come in contact with your cider. That includes the inside of the Triton keg, all of the tubing and the hoses. You can kind of hook it up and spray the sanitizer through it. It's super important with the iGulu because you're not boiling and sanitizing anything. Now, our sanitizer of choice that we always recommend is Star San. We'll have links for that below. It has 30-second contact time. You can mix up a batch. It lasts a very, very long time as long as you're using like RO or distilled water. And you can put it in a spray bottle. We'll have that link too because we love just misting stuff. Okay, next you're gonna take 116 ounces of clean filtered water and add it to one of the Triton kegs. Now it's important to use filtered water or reverse osmosis water. You can even use spring water from the store. That's fine too. Do not use tap water. There's typically lots of chlorine in tap water, which can lend to off flavors throughout the fermentation process. So don't recommend using that. Just get yourself some good quality water. Once that's added to your keg, go ahead and cut open your pouch of concentrated juice and mix it into the water to make sure it's thoroughly dissolved. If you're going to use a spoon to stir it, make sure that it is sanitized. Now, our packet was a little bit different than the last one we had gotten. The yeast was actually glued to the bottom of the packet itself. So it took us a second to find it and then another 5 minutes to actually peel it off without ripping the package open. So the glue works. We don't need any more strong glue. And actually, if you could, let us know in the comments if that's been your experience with some of these iGulu kits. A lot of the stuff seems to come separately, but the cider kit, for some reason, had that attached. And there's some other issues we'll talk about here a little bit later. But let me know in the comments below if you've kind of experienced the same thing or maybe had a different experience yourself. Once that's done, we're gonna kind of deviate from the normal instructions at this point. You're going to try to pour half of that cider into the other Triton keg. Now, the good news is because they're both clear, it's very easy to set them side by side and you can see when the levels are equal. It's important, at least for our experiment, we want to get them as even as possible. At this point, we're going to go ahead and add our spiced tincture that we made in our prior video. Again, definitely check that video out. It's actually very interesting on how to make that. But again, wait till you're finished watching this video before moving on to that one. Take your spiced tincture. We're going to add 1 ounce to each of the Triton kegs. And at this point, we're gonna again deviate and we're gonna focus on batch number 1 for the time being. Batch number 1 is the batch we're gonna add the cranberry juice post-fermentation. So at this point, you've got your cider in there, you've got your tincture flavoring. Go ahead and pitch half of the yeast packet. We're gonna add a tilt hydrometer just to kind of compare the two fermentation-wise, so you certainly don't have to do this, but this is where we're gonna add our tilt hydrometer to batch number 1. Go ahead and put the lid on the keg, put the safety latch on, load it into your iGulu. For batch number 2, this is the batch where everything is going to go through the full fermentation process. So go ahead and add 1.5 cups of your high quality cranberry juice. At this point, batch number 2 is going to be ready for you to pitch the rest of the yeast, the other half of the yeast packet. Again, we're going to throw another tilt hydrometer in this batch. you should go ahead and put the keg lid on, put the safety latch, and go ahead and load it into your iGulu. And you can attach your serving tube. Now, before you do that, make sure you're closing down that little clamp to make sure no cider or cranberry juice comes spurting out during fermentation from the serving tube. Now, with both of your iGulus fully loaded, go ahead and scan your RFID sticker. And again, I do have to mention, most of the kits we've gotten, the iGulu sticker has always come separately. It comes on its own little wrapper, and I didn't know if that was to collect the sticker in a book, although the picture on them is always the same, so I wasn't quite sure what the intent was. In this cider kit, it was actually attached to the package, which I thought, oh great, they're actually putting them on the package now, so you scan the package. But we couldn't get our sticker to scan. It was actually quite weird. I tried it a number of different times. It would not scan. I thought maybe we had a defective sticker, or maybe it was just a sticker and not the RFID tag underneath. I went ahead and peeled the sticker off. I could see the metal coils or the antenna that's on there, so I knew, no, this is the RFID sticker, and when I held it up the machine, it scanned right away. So I'm not sure if it's the Mylar in the bag that's interfering with it. I don't know, but if you yourself have issues, just take the sticker off the bag and scan it. If you've had issues before, let us know in the comments. We'd love to relay that information to iGulu because we do have a good relationship with them. All right, so once you have allowed your batch to ferment out completely, and I'm referring to batch number 1 at this point, and that's the one with just the apple juice and the tincture, the spices. Right when it hits the cold crash stage, you're gonna wanna take that keg out, and now is the time to stop that fermentation. Now that it's completely finished, we wanna make sure it doesn't kick up again, so we're gonna add 2.5 grams of potassium sorbate. Now you can add it directly into the juice, but we're actually gonna add it to some sterile water, about 2 ounces, and kind of make a slurry to make sure that it's dissolved and doesn't just sink straight to the bottom of the Triton keg. We're gonna add that in there, seal up our keg, and put it back into the iGulu and let it rest for 24 hours so that the potassium sorbate can do its job. After 24 hours is up, we're gonna take the keg back out and add 1.5 cups of our cranberry juice, seal the keg back up, and put it back into the iGulu and allow it to continue to cold crash and carbonate at this point. We're gonna let it sit for 24 hours or more just so that the flavors can kind of marry and we'll kind of see what happens. After that, our batches are ready for tasting. So let's find out which technique worked the best. All right, guys, here we are in the tasting room. Before I get started, I did want to introduce Christy, my partner in crime. Obviously, you usually see her with the tastings. Today, she is producing, so unfortunately, she will not be on camera, but she will be tasting alongside with me, so you'll probably hear her comments off to the side. So, Christy, thank you for joining me again today.
Always.
Appreciate it.
Of course.
All right, so we got a couple things that we're sampling here. We have our original OG cider that we did, which is just the kit with the crystal spices. Again, that video will link below. Check out kind of how well that turned out, because it came out really, really nice, that originally. And then we had the idea of making it even more festive and adding some cranberry juice to it. So you can see our 2 different versions that we did. The color on those is absolutely incredible. Like it is crazy the color that's in there. So I figure we'll start with our cider as a base with the spices to kind of remind us what it tastes like, which was really hard not to drink the whole thing in the 2 weeks since we brewed this up. So let's give it a cheers. Still good, not as sharp.
No.
The spice has
Is this the one with the tincture in it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the spice has diminished a little.
It has. It's still really good though.
Definitely something you want to drink fresh then, because that seems like that spice falls off. Although on the plus side, if you've over-spiced it, don't throw it out, give it some time. And it will probably start to diminish a little bit. All right, so let's get to our cranberry dosed versions. And we've got 2 of them here. And again, as a reminder, although you guys probably just watched this so you know, but I'm gonna remind Christy because it's been a couple of weeks. So one of these glasses, we just fermented out the cider like we did in our first batch, and we added cranberry juice post-fermentation after shutting down the yeast so it wouldn't continue to ferment. The other one, we actually fermented out the cranberry juice. So I'm curious to see what kind of biotransformation occurred with the cranberry juice, if there's even a difference in flavor, and if it's worth the extra effort, or if you just let it ferment out.
Which one is the red marked one?
I am not gonna tell you till you taste it. So which one do you wanna start with?
The non-marked.
The non-marked glass, all right, so cheers.
Cheers. I really like it, actually.
The apple still holds up.
I love the color. The color is beautiful.
That is extremely festive. I mean, that is Christmas right there. You were commenting earlier as I was pouring them, it's almost like the Barrel Works sour beers,
yes.
That vibrant color.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's what it reminds me of.
Definitely. It is really pretty. So that's a nice presentation for the holidays. All right, should we try the other one?
Yep.
Cheers. Color's about the same, which I'm kind of surprised at. I don't really see a difference.
Okay, immediately, I know I like the first one better.
This one's harsher.
This one tastes like pure cranberry juice.
I don't get the apple. I get a little bit of the spice in there, but it's actually almost astringent in the dryness of it. It is.
This has to be the one that you didn't ferment out.
You are actually correct. So there is actually a pretty big difference then when you actually add the cranberry and ferment it out, which I'm pleasantly surprised with. I honestly thought that the fermented one would be the non-preferred one. Like that would be too much flavor lost, and that the cranberry retaining its original flavors would actually pop more, but it's actually, I agree with you, it's the opposite. I prefer the one that was actually fermented out, and you don't lose the cranberry flavor. It actually softens up and the apple comes through more.
The one that wasn't fermented out just tastes like you added cranberry juice.
But it overpowers it. It doesn't actually, the flavors don't meld together.
Correct. Yeah.
So that yeast fermentation is super critical when it comes to melding those flavors together. But we didn't lose the cranberry, it softened it. It softened it up, so it's not quite so hard. Is there anything that we would change on it?
No.
I may do a little less cranberry. Not by much, a couple ounces, just to let the apple shine through a little bit more. But I think if you presented this to anybody, and you know, I'm being super critical, this is delicious as it is. I think the spice flavor comes through. It's a nice little note, pairs nicely with the cranberry and the apple. I mean, this I think is a winner. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching our video on taking iGulu's cider kit and kicking it up another notch by adding some cranberry juice. Let us know in the comments if this is something you've done before, or if you've tried this and if you've had success with it. I think this was definitely a great way to kick that kit up a notch, especially around the holidays and things. Catch you later, my friends.